skip ahead. Joe's joining. Let me let Joe in. Otherwise, I just skip ahead and show you the ads account part. But I'm going to screen share in a second. For anyone who doesn't want to be in the video, it's recording everyone's faces, I believe. You're very welcome to disable the camera for the call, but of course, you're also welcome to stay. This is only going to the community, and also I want to have a Q&A part probably at the end. So I'm going to just try to cover a bunch of things, and then you're always welcome to use the raise your hand features that you guys discovered on your own. You know how it works, and then we can just pretty much answer questions. Thank you, Jill. Jill Biden understands how it works. And let me share the screen, and then let's jump right in. I even took notes today. I think that's a big step. Getting started with meta ads. These are just quick notes I want to touch on. You guys all know what meta is and what ads are, but this is being recorded. This goes out to everyone, even people that might be very new to e-commerce or just online business in general, because we can run ads for anything. And with Meta, it's just the one platform. It's like the Photoshop of creative tools, where if you want to learn a platform, everyone's kind of running it on Meta. So it's also kind of a little bit more the one where we have to understand more. But once we understand everything, any other platform is much easier to use, and the concepts still apply to everything else. So this is why we want to teach Meta first. It means you can run ads on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp if you want to, Facebook Marketplace, Messenger. There's multiple of them, but usually Instagram and Facebook are the ones that are being heavily used. And it just allows us to do it through one platform. So we don't have to learn how to run Instagram and Facebook ads. We just learn how to run ads, and then we can decide where we want Meta, which used to be Facebook. That's maybe where the confusion for some people come from. But Meta then says, all right, you tell me where you want this to show, and then we do the rest, and we only have to worry about getting set up so people actually get to a Shopify store, people can check out, and most importantly, that it's being reported as a conversion. This is what changed a lot in iOS 14. I briefly touched on a second ago, where Apple made some privacy updates and the tracking has become a little bit messy. For that, they added something called the Conversion API, but I'm going to cover a bunch of these terms in a second. I think we touched on Meta. Why Meta? Makes sense. It's the biggest one. I don't know of a big brand that isn't running ads on Meta. There's other ones, you guys, we touched on in the calls on some others like Pinterest, TikTok, X. Pretty much every big platform now has an option to run ads, but Meta is just the go-to. And again, once you understand Meta, you kind of can infer pretty much any other platform. So this is why we do Meta. Then the terms I will use a lot. I just want to get some of these out the door because you guys have held me accountable. I keep using terms and then I never took the time to actually explain them. These are the ones that I probably will use most often, or you will hear in the entire process the most often, is the pixels. And the pixel is just our tracker, kind of. It's a code that we install in our store. And this is kind of the tracker for Facebook, that whatever action is taken on our site, that is being reported back to Facebook. And this way, they can optimize our ads. So when we let the algorithm take over our ads, they would then know that, let me just close this. They then know that when, for example, a user comes through an ad, he clicks on something, or they even purchase something, hopefully, the algorithm on the Meta side then learns and realizes, okay, this was a great user. What do we know about them? Can we find similar users? In order for the algorithm to do the work, they need the data, and the pixel is our bridge that actually feeds the data. Conversion API is a complicated name if you're not technical. All it does is kind of the pixel premium. Again, with the privacy changes, not everything can be tracked anymore. It used to be pixel only. Now, Apple, Safari, but especially iPhone users, it's gotten much harder to understand their actions or report them back to Meta. So what the Conversion API does is that's just a direct link between Shopify and our Facebook ads. And Shopify now directly, instead of before it was just, oh yeah, kind of Facebook is listening in what they're doing. Now Shopify is, whenever we get a sale, they directly tell Facebook, hey, a sale happened, by this user, this ID. You do the learning with it, and that's making it so much easier for us to learn the algorithm again, to scale our ads and do all of that. Well, ads I put on the list sounds pretty obvious, but I just wanted to put it there because when people mention ads, it's not about this entire fluff that we're going to be covering, but that's mainly used interchangeably with creatives. So when we say, oh yeah, just test a new ad, that doesn't mean you need, and we're going to cover it in a second, you need a new data set and campaign, but you only just need a new image. So that's usually what's meant with ads. And creative, on the flip side, these terms are kind of used interchangeably. Creative is just meaning, okay, we have an ad, meaning an image and a text running, but we just want a new image. And the image is called the creative. That's the term that's being used most commonly. Then some of the acronyms, not all of them are important, but these are the ones that once you also venture out into YouTube and maybe start doing some research, these are the most important ones. There are many, many more. Many of them absolutely don't matter. It's very easy to get confused, but we do want to know what the ROAS is. That's the first one. It's called a return on ad spend. That's every time someone purchases. We, for example, run an ad for $10 a day. Someone buys our $30 product for within the first day. Maybe we spend 10 on ads, so we got a 3x, 3 times a return on ad spend, because we got $30 of purchase for $10 of ad spend. So that's our long-term goal, is pretty much only to track the ROAS. If everything works well, then our cost per acquisition is going to be interesting. But if we know, okay, this ad performs 1 point something return on ad spend, that's going to be also the goal that we're going to be aiming for in the beginning. Just be above the 1 of ad spend. That means 1 is break even. And as soon as we're break even, and that doesn't include your profit. This is just the purchase price. So of course there's product costs involved, but this is just for simple tracking. Okay, we have also a calculator that we can share in the future where you can put in your product cost and then get the actual number you need, the actual multiplier of ROAS to know, okay, if we hit, oftentimes it's 1.7 or maybe 2x of return on ad spend, then we're profitable. That's just for us an easy way to track. Then CAC, people like to use it a lot. It's our customer acquisition cost. That's when people are asking, hey, what's your CAC? Meaning, how much do you pay to get a new customer? That's just a dollar number. So it can be $10, can be $100. When we built our fintech startup, we sometimes spent $700 per user. Sounds insane, but the lifetime value was also insane. So depending on industry, CAC doesn't really mean anything. All we want to know is it profitable for our business? Of course, if you're selling slower or lower margin items, then you want your customer acquisition cost to be low. Brez, the CBD drink, spends over $83 to acquire a customer for a drink that is very high, but they do sell a lot of subscriptions and they know the lifetime value, and it's all going to make sense long term. It's just a good number to know. And then CPC, often confused with cost per conversion, but it's just the cost per click. It's, I think, the first metric we're going to be seeing is how much, if before we make a purchase, are people clicking? Is the click costing us more or less than maybe with the previous ad? Once we make conversions, it's going to be irrelevant really soon, because even if the click is more expensive, but the conversion is cheaper, so we're going to have a higher ROAS. It doesn't matter how much a click costs. We don't want clicks, we want conversions. We are only going to be tracking how much money are we making with the ads. And then CPM is the cost per mil. This is just whenever our ad gets served, we can kind of gauge how and what type of market we are. This is meaning for every 1,000 visitors, or 1,000 platform users, be it Instagram, that see our ads, how much would that cost? Can range from $10 to over $100. And it's influenced by how many other people are advertising in that space, the bidding strategies there, but also what type of audience is it. If it's in the business niche, if you're, for example, are selling a service or a product for business people, then you're going to have a higher cost per mil, because these people like to buy more, spend more, and all of that. That's pretty much the most important stuff. Again, there will be many more, but we'll just cover, as long as once they come up, we'll cover them. And with those, you pretty much have everything you need. Now, to the tricky part. And the tricky part is not how to run ads, funny enough. I think the trickiest part is, how do you actually understand Facebook or the meta structure. They changed it a lot. So if you ran ads maybe 3 years ago, then welcome again. We have to learn it again. They keep changing the names and move things around, and it's kind of comical. But this is going to be the overview, and then hopefully it kind of makes sense. And even I get confused still. But just so you guys understand, we have a personal Facebook account. And why is it on this list? Because this is kind of our user that we then create the business account with, the ad account, our pages. Everything ties back to our personal Facebook accounts. And we also want to be our personal Facebook account. People once we create brand pages, they don't know that this belongs to our personal account. But a big mistake people make a lot is, oh, I want a new business account, a new ad account. I'll create a new Facebook account. But if we have less than 6 weeks of data, if we don't look like a real person, then we get easily flagged as just a bot, and they're going to close our business account. So all you want to do is open with your personal account. Maybe you haven't even signed in 10 years if you still have one. But that's our user. With that, we can create anything. So we have the personal account, and then we have our business manager. Now, the business manager is one level up above the ad manager. This is where a lot of confusion is coming from. The business manager is kind of our umbrella, where we say, if we use effortless ecom, we have, or in our case, this is Hazel Studios. This is our company, and our company has brands underneath. For example, the Facebook page of effortless ecom, the Instagram account of effortless ecom, or it's still the Hazel. And then the ad manager lives as an asset on the same level as our pages. So that's hopefully, if you just think about this in the future, whenever you're in the business manager, and we'll open it in a second, and you're trying to find the ad manager, just keep in mind, if you're in the business manager, it's just a subcategory. You'll find it there. You find in the same settings as your Facebook page, for example. Now, the business manager is also the one that we're connecting to our Shopify store, because the pixel lives with the business manager, not with the ad manager. You can think of it that we put all the data in the business manager, and then the ad manager is just taking that data. It also needs access to that data, and then just serves the ads either through a Facebook page on Facebook or through an Instagram account on Instagram. But it's getting the data from the business manager. This is kind of the setup that we were aiming for. And you know what? Let's probably just also start doing it. We see the essentials. Yeah, I took some notes on what we need in the setup. Again, we need a Facebook business account. I already created one for this example. For Stefan, for you personally, I looked into how to delete one because I was in the same situation. I had too many business accounts, and it took me a while, and I found it. So I'm going to show you quickly how to do it. To create a business account, we want to go to business.facebook.com. I think I heard something. Oh, Stefan? Yeah. All right, watch this. It's not easy. No, we want to go to business.facebook.com. Let me switch the tab sharing. And this is an old account I was using. And then underneath here, there's business info. And then you can see permanently delete business. When you click it, it's probably going to give you a warning that you have still assets connected, because it has a pixel. And here's the funny part. When you click this, I'm going to share the tab in a second. It's opening in a new tab. This is just my favorite part. It links you to pixels, but that's not where it lives anymore. So even they changed the things. They didn't update the links. So you're pretty much on the hunt, but now pixels are called data sets or living under data sets. And then just make sure you delete your pixels here. Usually what you have to do is only remove the connected assets, which I did. And then it allowed me to, and when you go back, it allows you to actually delete the business accounts. Let me switch tabs again. Okay, so we want a business account. This is just something you can create. Again, you have to sign in with your personal user first, then create a business account. Give it a name that actually reflects your business. So we have one for Hazel Studios. We have a lot. Now I can actually create a new one. Let's create a new one. Let's see. Let's do effortless. Actually, let's do learn Shopify. Let's do effortless ecom. We're thinking about changing the name, but not yet. Let's create. Let's see what we have to do. All right, I reached the limit. I'm going to use the other one that I created earlier. But this is pretty much the same thing. Then you go in, delete some of the accounts, and then you should be good to go again. But this is just the business account. Then we need an ad account as well. That's something we don't need right away. We can create that in a second, because what we can do now, once we have a business account, is we can actually go into our Shopify store. And I skipped a little bit ahead. I already have the app installed. But what you can do is you can go to Sales Channels and then search for Facebook and Instagram. And it's not an app. It lives as a sales channel. It's a little bit confusing.
We don't see what you're doing, Florian.
Oh, thanks. This is what will come up when you search for the Facebook and Instagram sales channel. You can find it here. Just click Sales Channel, search for it, and then this one will show up. We're going to install it. Give it a second. Great. Now we have the option to, we can also install, so we have shop and ads, or we have ads only. What shop and ads means is if you want to sell on Instagram via Instagram shopping or Facebook shop, then do that. In our case, I'm just going to do ads only. Can you guys hear the dog? Is that too loud?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay, maybe mute for a second. I think we're in the clear. No chance to speak for my dog. Okay, so I just connected with my personal Facebook account. I'm already signed in a different tab, so this way you don't have to sign in again. It's going to bring up all of the business accounts that you have. In this case, I'm going to use Apartment 17. It's just an old agency. And here we want to go, it's going to ask you how much data do you want to share. We, in the US, we want to go with the maximum. And this is then going to install the conversion API. That's what we briefly talked about earlier. It's called the kind of the Pixel Plus. And we already have pixels, so I'm going to use the Shopify pixel. But if you don't have one, and I created this through this flow, you can just say create meta pixel. You click create new, and I'm actually going to do it in a second. We don't have to do anything else. You do, that's it. I just click create new. We have Apartment 17's pixel. I hit confirm. You have terms and conditions, and submit for review. Review is just an automated process. You're going to see in a second. It's syncing our product catalog. We don't really have to do anything with that unless we want to actually show them in Instagram Shop and all of that. For us, doesn't matter. We're just going to be running ads. So we just give it a second for it to finalize. There we are. That's pretty much it. Nothing for us to do. This is just to get started with the shop. We don't want the shop parts. You don't need the shop parts to run ads. We can verify the settings. We want to make sure we're reporting maximum. We're connected to Apartment 17's pixel. Catalog synced. Great. Doesn't really matter. That just means whenever we upload a product to our store, it's automatically uploaded to the business manager on Facebook. That doesn't mean people can buy it right away. If we don't have the shop enabled, it just means they kind of put it on like this holding page that we could enable it. But we can just keep it synced. We're not going to do anything with that. And now let me just verify in our settings. And then we had, where was it? Customer events. Okay, we can then see Facebook and Instagram is connected. Sometimes if you have a new store and you see here, then it's still going to say, I had this earlier, it said, I think needs verification or something. And then you just click on it. And it's going to open up your store or the app. And then we can even click the 3 dots and do test. I'm going to share the tab. It's opening a new tab. And then you can see, okay, the pixel helper sharing is loaded. They get the event page viewed. And this way, okay, we know they're reporting to Facebook. That's all we need. But if you're not seeing this, if it says needs verification, then it's going to show you a pop-up first just saying, hey, accept the terms. You just click accept again, and then you're going to see the exact same view. Nothing more for us to do here. Let's switch tabs to the business manager now. Okay, here's the business manager. I switched it to apartment 17, not the one I wanted to delete earlier. I'm also going to close some tabs so I'm not getting overwhelmed. And here we have now the ad accounts. So you can see under accounts, we have ad accounts. This is where we have the Instagram, the WhatsApp. This is why I wanted to show the chart first, because as long as we know where we are right now in this chart, are we in the business manager? Are we in the ad manager? It's kind of easy to navigate. I'd put easy in quotes because you always get lost. But what we want to check here is first we want to check our data sources and now our pixels, or sorry, now data sets. And we do have Shopify here. I think that's the one we're looking at. No, we want this one, apartment 17's pixel. We have it twice because I created a first one earlier. Let me see which one. I think that's the new one because this isn't connected yet. And this is what we want to do then is can I rename this? I don't think from this view. But this is the new one that we created, and you can see it's not connected to anything. We now have a Shopify pixel that's reporting to the business manager. And in the chart earlier, if you guys remember, we have like the business manager collects all the data, but we need to share it with our ads manager. And in the future, you can also have an agency maybe running ads for you. And we want to share the pixel with their ads manager. But in our case, what we want to do is we can connect assets. And now is the time, if we don't have an ads account yet, you can create it. All we have to do, this is how it looks. It's called adsmanager.facebook.com. You can create one. Does it allow us to create one here too? Let's see. I already have one, so I'm going to connect an existing one. We want to click assign assets. And what that does means, okay, we get the data from Shopify, but who can access it? This is pretty much the step that we're at now. Okay, we do get the reports. We know people visited the homepage. We know people bought even the products, but no one right now can actually read that data. But and this is my ads account, I call it Learn Shopify. I'm going to say, share this data with Learn Shopify. And to make it easier, I'm going to remove Learn Shopify from here, so we're not going to see multiple pixels in a second. And now, again, even if I lost you right now, we're now still in the business manager. We have created an ads manager, but we haven't seen it from the inside yet. And what we just did is we say, hey, Shopify is now connected to our business. And now we want the data that's flowing from Shopify to the business. We want it to flow to our ads account because this is now what we're going to be using to actually create ads, target people, learn from it whenever someone reports a purchase. Then without the connection, it's just reporting to the business manager, but not to the ads manager. And this way we can optimize it. So I'm going to switch now to the ads manager, and you can just see by the URL, you can technically navigate from here. You can do ad accounts, learn Shopify, open an ads manager. I recommend, and I'm going to share this one now. This is how the ads manager look. I'm going to remove everything because we're going to start from scratch. This is what we're going to be seeing. You probably land at the overview. I recommend if you're new to this, create bookmarks for everything. Create one for the ads manager, for the business manager. Business manager, we barely have to touch other for settings. In general, just for the business manager setup, I wrote down some notes, and I'm going to share all of that. Just make sure that it's actually named like your business. You have your business information there. I think Emma, if I remember correctly, had to verify her business first. They do some of these things. Do all of them. Don't rush through the process because they are the ones that are flagging us as spam. And it's kind of hard to get new tries with Facebook. So just make sure everything is set up. You have your billing connected. Don't use PayPal if you don't have to. I like to use credit cards because PayPal sometimes can get into a mess. And if PayPal can't deduct, or if there's like something going on there, and Facebook doesn't immediately get their ad budget, then they flag you and they easily also ban you. So I recommend do the credit cards. And also, there are credit cards, once you guys go into scaling, there are credit cards with great points and cashback for ad platforms. So there are specific credit cards for that purpose. And this is just easy for us, especially if eventually we run profitable ads, we cycle through it, put in the credit card, you get the return within that month, pay off the credit card, take the cashback, take the points. And it's just a simple setup. Okay, Ads Manager. Or do you guys have any questions? Maybe this is a good time to answer questions, because there's one more step I want to cover with the Business Manager, and then we're going to talk about ads.
I've got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed when I set up my Shopify that I have more than one pixel.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I can just go into my Ads Manager and eliminate, or do I need to go to Business Manager?
It's on the Business Manager. You can
Okay.
definitely either eliminate or rename depending on if they're connected to something. But yeah, just give it a very obvious name, just for us to make sure that whatever we're connecting now to always reports to the same pixel.
Okay.
But that's a great question. That's on the Business Manager level.
And in the Business Manager, is that where other pixels live, like for Pinterest, et cetera, et cetera?
Let me share that. Yeah, you have in the Business Manager, they call it now data sources. So here we have our pixels, and you would even add one like this. You could then say, okay, I want to add a new pixel. I think I have to verify my business first. Oh no, it's now data set creation. You would do it here now, where we say, I want a Pinterest pixel. And then it's probably going to ask you about the website, which one's reporting from. Yeah, exactly. Do you want pixel only or with conversion API? I think Pinterest has their own integration, so it's definitely going to be this one. I'm not entirely sure, but you just follow the installation, and then you have your Pinterest pixel here. In our case, we have the Shopify one. This is the one that's connected. And then, yeah, just make sure you give it an obvious name so we know which one is being reporting. You can also use the same pixel. Sometimes it allows to use the same pixel for Pinterest. And then we just learn from any purchase. The only problem is with the conversion API is we don't want the Pinterest purchases to report into our Facebook campaign. And we're going to talk about this at the end, but there's services like Triple Whale. There's other reporting services. They do a good job at kind of dissecting those. But data can get really messy, especially once we start running ads on multiple platforms. That's a future topic, because we can also add URLs to attribute the sales. But just make sure you have one clean pixel, call it Shopify or something obvious, connected to Shopify, and then do the same with Pinterest. And in the future, you can then not easily, but we can combine the data.
Thank you.
I also missed a step, and it's great that we're actually here, because what's a little hidden and what's actually going to give us a lot of trust is we want to verify our domain. And it's in some guide they put it, Meta's own guide, some they don't. So we just want to make sure in our business settings still, that's where we are, we can go under brand safety and suitability, and then it's called domains. And here I don't have a domain. I also can't connect a domain. I'm going to I'm going to create a new domain, but our store isn't live, so that's not going to do anything. Let me actually see what our domain is. Oh. We only have Hazel testing myshopify.com. So this wouldn't be an official thing now, because that's not going to report anything, but that's going to give you to that place. So in Sid's case, we want to do the USA first store, and smashwave.net would be one. And then you're going to get there. You want to click this, copy to clipboard, and then we're going to go back to Shopify, and I'm actually going to show you how we do this. So we want to go back to Shopify, and here we actually have to edit the code. usually duplicate it, but we're gonna do an actual video on this, how do you safely do this. But you can edit the code, and then we want to go to our theme.liquid. Again, don't worry if this doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna do the end of the head, and then you can just paste that code that Meta gave us. You hit save, and if we go back, now this is not going to work right now when I verified. I did it earlier with an actual domain. When I verified this one, because it's actually trying to go to the site, but the site is still hidden because this is a demo store with Shopify. So nothing for us to actually verify. But this is all you would do: hit save, hit verify, and it's immediately going to give you the go. And this way, we're not going to be flagged as a bot whenever we do, when we run ads for your domain. And if you guys try to do this at home, just message me if you have questions. I'm happy to walk you guys through it. But this is also going to be an actual part of the course. OK, domain verification. Let's pretend this worked. I'm going to switch now to the ads manager, to the good stuff. And let me just check my notes if I wanted to cover something before. I think we're good. Obviously was a lot, but this is, yeah, we're ready to technically run ads. So I'm just going to show you the quick setup. There is 3 things we have to know. We have the campaigns, and these are the tabs. We have our campaigns. That's just overarching whatever our, usually you split them by what you're promoting. So if you have different products, you want to have different campaigns. Oh, this is a quick note again on the ads manager. You can have multiple ads manager for one business. And a good practice is, as soon as someone, if you're selling different products, like very different products, not a different mug format, but you're now selling something like dog beds, then create a new ad manager so we can learn new data. And if you're selling in different markets, so maybe you're US based right now, but you want to sell to Canada or to Europe, then create a new ads manager, because we want to make sure the time zone and the currency are set up for that market. And this is mainly for reporting, and so we can have a clean distinguish between the data and we don't get overwhelmed. And the best practice is to be by market and by products. But now, once we're here, this is how every ads manager looks. Just make sure if you in the future have multiple ones, that click on the one that you actually want to run the ads with. There's not too much to see, to be honest. This is a new account. We have our overview. This is where we're just going to see usually some performance enhancements or recommendations coming from Meta's AI. They're semi-usable, so don't really worry about this too much. We have our campaigns. This is where we do at least 90% of our time are we going to be spending here. And then ads reporting. This is just analytics, audiences, not super interesting. Billing and payments. Yes, we do have to connect our card here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, let's actually create an ad. And sorry for moving fast, but this is also kind of the last part. And then and it's just rinse and repeat from now. And the best part is you don't even have to do, we only have to kind of change the ads, not really the campaigns. So I'm going to create a campaign first. And it's going to bring up these options. I click the green button. It's going to bring up these options. A big misconception, people usually say, oh, I want people to my site. That's when we start running ads. We're like, oh yeah, I want people to see my site. So commonly people use traffic. We don't want traffic. Traffic is great, but traffic doesn't mean these are people that are actually buy. So we actually want to say, no, we don't want traffic. We want sales. So click on sales, click next. And they now give you the option to do the Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I like to use the manual sales campaign. You can do that. That's going to be a shortcut, but I would just want to cover a bunch of things that we only get with the manual campaign. So I'll do the manual setup, hit next. It's going to bring up to this interface. And I always like to name it by what it is that we're doing. ADV Plus is Advantage Plus. That's the optimization. You can use that during the creation flow. I just didn't use it because I'm going to show you something. And then I like to say, who am I targeting? So our market is going to be USA. And this is now that changed drastically over the last couple of years. Before, I don't know if you guys have marketing experience, there was like the concept where we distinguish between, are you more a warm lead? Are you cold, meaning you've never heard about us? We serve you differently. Or people also call it bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and then top of the funnel. And we had to retarget, and it used to be very complex, saying, okay, these are people that have never heard about us, so we run them a certain type of ad. And then you track the data, and then people who have already been to our site, we target them with something else. And then there was the middle of the funnel, and then the top of the funnel was, okay, maybe people that already purchased, you want to target with something else. So you warm up that person to your brand in that journey. Thank God this changed. We don't need to do this anymore. We now have just one campaign. We keep it very broad. We want the AI to do everything. We say, hey, this is Advantage Plus. We tell you what we're selling. We put the ads in, but then Meta is going to determine who's actually the person that's most likely to buy. And as soon as we get a report that someone bought, the AI is going to jump on it and say, okay, what do I know about this person that is helpful to me to find more of these people? And then it's just going to do a little bit of action. Oftentimes, the first sale doesn't mean anything, because then it's often jumping into a completely different direction. And we just want to let it learn. And then once the first sale comes, or the first couple sale come, then it's just going to get easier and easier to find new sales. We still want to be tracking the ROAS that we covered earlier, because you can find people that purchase, but at a horrible price. And that means the campaign technically is working, but maybe our ads are bad. So this is when we start testing new ads. But let's continue. Let's just talk through some of these settings. Campaign name, yes, great. Advantage Plus, USA. Special ad category, we can skip that. That's just if we're doing credit cards, employment, housing, some things that aren't necessarily allowed or regulated. I don't think it applies to any of us in the community. This one we leave. Auction type. Catalog, we don't want. I'm going to turn this off. But we can also change this on the ad level. And then A/B test, nothing for us to do here. Advantage campaign budget, I'm going to toggle on. If in the first step, if you didn't do the manual, but only the Advantage Plus campaign, you get this automatically. This is just for everyone that's coming from the old UI. This is usually what I would do. What this allows us to do is we just say on campaign level, we want to spend X amount of dollars per day. We're going to have maybe multiple ads running at the same time. We now give Meta the full control to take over if they realize we maybe want to spend, if we say, or let's do the $20 a day, if we say $50 a day should go into this winning ad, then they will automatically apply the capital wherever they think is the best fit. And we don't have to do any of increasing budgets, reducing, testing. It used to be really messy. It's very easy now. It works kind of great. Just enable campaign budget. Again, if you're doing the complete Advantage Plus campaign, you don't even have to do that. It's by default. And then scheduling, we don't have to do anything here. Reporting, also leave it as is. We're going to click next. Now this is going to bring us to our ad set level. And this is kind of where we start running ads. So ad set is our targeting. And then ads is what do we want to show these people. So with targeting, we're going to say it's going to be broad. So I usually like to call it just whatever it is, the market that we're targeting. Now we're only going to target USA. We want to keep website. And this is now the moment we've been waiting on. This is where we actually connect the pixel now to the ad set, so that this is actually learning and that we're also feeding in the data. So we want to do a website. This is where we want the people to go. We have the performance goal. Make sure you have maximized number of conversions. If you already have it enabled, do maximize value of conversions. New ad accounts don't get this. I think they even say it here. I think you have to have certain weeks of data without any reports for you to actually get that. The difference is a little self-explanatory, but if I confuse you too much already, we have like number of conversions. It's just we want to have as many sales as possible, whereas value of conversions, some subset of visitors tend to spend more. And this would mean, okay, we're not caring, like we care about making more money, not necessarily having 10 versus 15 sales. We just want to have the most money possible. And this would be the maximizing the value of the conversion. In the beginning, we just want sales. Just click maximize number of conversions. You can see the other ones, number of landing page views, number of link clicks. Doesn't matter to us. Matt had this where you get very cheap clicks, but no conversions. And you wouldn't believe people out there, they're people that are habitual clicker, that they see links, like sometimes by accident. And if we say, no, we just want clicks, they serve the people that by accident click a lot of links, and they'll click and drop off, and we're not going to make any sales. So conversion is going to make everything so much easier. And now here we go, pixel. If we click it and we did everything right, yes, we can see apartment 17 pixel. And you should see the conversion API. If you connected with Shopify, this should show up for you as well. This just means that we got our premium pixel connected. Shopify is ready to report whenever someone makes an add to cart, a conversion, an actual purchase. They're going to piping it straight into our ad set, and the ad set is going to optimize the serving for the next visitors. So that's fantastic. And conversion event. This in the beginning, you might have to select some of that. It's just purchase is our conversion event. And then that's just common. Setup conversion just means there's no data. They have never seen a conversion. So we can technically even say we could technically label anything a conversion. You can even have a custom conversion saying if someone visits this page, mark it as a conversion. For us, we don't have to do anything. Just leave it as is and ignore the warning. As soon as we get an actual purchase event, they'll know what it is. Dynamic creative, that's usually good to have. This is where we want to display it. This means that that sometimes they realize when we run an ad, if we added a song to it and made a reel out of a static image, then that would perform better. I usually like to enable it. From what I've seen, people like to use it. You don't have to use it, but it's just, since we give AI the control, we want to give it as much control as possible. Same with targeting. We're going to talk about in a second. Budget schedule, leave as is. We don't need to schedule it. And then now audience control. This is where it used to be such a science to find new customers, because this is what we also talked about in previous meetings, where who are we looking for? Because now we can present our ads to, this is a new bug they have, where they pick today, and then in a minute it's going to expire saying, you're too slow. So we're going to actually launch our ads at 2 p.m., so we get 15 minutes. With audience control, it used to be the thing saying, oh, I want to only show certain ads to people that live in Denver and have dogs and are above the age of 65 and male and have kids. And then we have the perfect offering. Nowadays, since we have less data, we want to keep it as broad as possible. What broad means is you see the audience definition on the right. Whatever we put in here is going to estimate that they estimate right now we're only targeting United States. They estimate that we could technically reach between 140 million and 165 million people. That's, of course, overwhelming. We're not going to see all of them, but this is just giving as much flexibility to the algorithm to say, okay, we can now tap into anyone in the US that is on Facebook and Instagram and serve our products. So keep it broad. Now, Advantage plus audience. This, I would recommend at the beginning not to use it. This is a great tool if we say, they call it suggestions, when we say, hey, you know what, I know that all of our customers have to be of a certain way, have to have dogs, have to do X, Y, Z. If you're very, very sure that that's the case, and I guarantee ignore it for now, because we don't have the data. If you have tens of thousands of sales and you see a clear trend, use that. If not, it's just going to throw the algorithm into a weird place, because that means, hey, this is our suggestion. And then the algorithm tries to make sense of it. And if they can find any conversions, then we pretty much wasted our ads, because maybe they would have found conversions if we didn't have given them some weird advice. And then placements, just leave it. Advantage plus placements. That's also going to make it much easier for us. And that's the ad set level. So now the last component will be the ads. And I'm just going to open it up quickly for you guys. Do we have questions for campaign and ad sets? Or should I just go right into the ads and then cover everything again? And we do questions about this entire setup. All right, let's do ads. Now, the fun part, also kind of an easy part, to be honest. It's if you get to this place, you're so close. All we want to do right now is you want to click next, and that's going to take us directly to the ad. The ad is, I'm just going to scroll down. It's not too much that we have to do. It's very simple to set up. All we want to give it first, give it a name that we're actually promoting. I think it downloaded a fake ad. What is it promoting? So here I would just give it a name so we can see in the analytics exactly what it is that we're saying. This one would be make the most, and you'll see why in a second. This is not a partnership ad. This one you can ignore unless you're working with influencers, and then the influencers run the ads on their account. Now, identity, this is where we connect everything. We haven't covered it before, but good reminder, connect your Instagram and your Facebook page to your business manager as well. We did the same with the ads account. Make sure you connect your Facebook and your business account, because then your Instagram account, because then you can click select page and you can pick all of your pages. Right now for testing, I'm just going to use effortless ecom. Create ad, perfect, nothing to do there. Make sure it's not selecting catalog, meaning, it probably won't in the beginning because you don't have anything yet, but catalog would mean it automatically just picks any image that we've already used in the past. We don't want that. We want ad source. Yeah, we have everything here. Ad source, meaning this is where we want the people to go. This is, in our case, what was it? That was wrong. I think it was just Hazel testing, or let's use effortless e.com. You can preview it. Always make sure you preview the URL, because you don't want to just click this button. You don't want to use a URL that's broken and then run ads and then learn. And we had this, and then people comment saying the link is broken. Like, oh my gosh, I spent $100 on an ad that people can't click on. So don't do that. Just make sure it actually works. Site links, that's nothing for us to do. Now add creative. This is why I wanted to cover it earlier. Creative is, this is just an old error when I put in the meta tag. This should be resolved. Creative is now the actual part where we upload our images. We're going to talk about how to actually create them in a separate video, because it's more an art than a science. But I'm going to use one from let me upload one from our Canva template that you should have access to. It's called the fake ad, and that's going to show up here. And now the primary text, this is the text that is showing above. So if it's a Facebook post, this is the one, you can think of funny enough, the description of the post, even though this is called description, but the description is what's being shown underneath our headline. So this is, think of it as the post itself, and same on Instagram. Headline is going to be this headline right here, and then description is going to be where it now says Facebook feed link description. This one is going to be the description. For the primary text, I just going to cheat right now because I wrote one earlier for a different product. I also have a ChatGPT prompt, but I'm just going to quickly move ahead and copy paste it, and then we can talk about it. This is now for dog beds, so it doesn't match our copy, but this is the length you should go for. The rule is, or generally what a good copy should do, it educates. You want to explain your unique selling points. So it shouldn't just be, oh, here's a cream. Why is this cream great? Why is this cream different? It should have an offer, an urgency, and if possible, not be boring. So there's got to be a reason why people want to click this link, not just saying, here's my new cream. I'm like, wow, great. And then they continue scrolling. But why exactly should they click? This is a copy that I liked a lot that I saw is because it's for fur, it's for beds for dogs. And the unique selling point is it's against or anxiousness for dogs. So this is why they were saying, get your anxious fur baby the best sleep of their life. The free shipping on top of our top-rated, so we get the social proof from top-rated dog beds. Free shipping is the offer that they're giving, and then try it now and give them peace of mind tonight. Just talking about the emotions, and we're gonna in the future we're gonna talk about how to actually craft these. But I just wanted to show you, you don't have to be super fancy here. The main selling is coming from the image. We really want to spend a lot of time getting the images right, get the unique selling points displayed in a way they actually make sense. But this one should just be very obvious. It should be clear, not clever. People want to or need to get immediately what it is. And then headline, I'm just going to copy paste as well. You'll be surprised how simple it's going to be. Headline is going to be free shipping on the #1 fur dog bed for anxious pets. I feel like it could have used a different image to go with that. But then we can see the preview. This is what it's going to look like. Of course, we're using now the protein shake. And then description, here you can technically leave it empty, and then it's just not going to show anything. What's common, what people like to use is either use the shipping emoji, I think it's the truck, this one, and call it free shipping. And then you're going to see underneath, it's not going to show free shipping. That's something people like to use. You can also use the star emojis and make sure they're 5, and then call it rated 5 stars by. But even the beginning, to be honest, you can also just remove it. Whoop. That was one escape too much. So in the beginning, we don't necessarily need this. And they're also going to try to recommend a lot of text options. Don't click it. And it's interesting to see the recommendations. It's their own AI recommendation, what else you could say. The only reason why I don't want it in the beginning is because we want to test. And we want to make sure that when we're testing an image and a text, is it the actual image that's converting? Is it the text that's converting? If we're making changes to the text, but keep the image the same. So we want to have the most control possible on the creative side and no control, if possible, on the ad serving side, on the ad set level. That's the algorithm. For the creative part, we want to have full control. Now here, website URL. Wait, what was the other URL? Oh, that's not the right field. Connect ad sources, more information. Oh, that's a new field. Interesting. We don't want that. We just want the website URL. This is where people want to go. Also, this is the button I meant. Click preview URL, because this is where people will go. And then we had, I think last week, we briefly talked about the display link. And you can see right here, let me see if I can zoom in. I want to zoom into the ad preview, where it now says effortless-e.com. We also have a display link where we could say, hey, this should be, even though the end domain, this is where people will go to, but we kind of want it to look like training.effortlesse.com. And display link just means this is how it looks, but this is what's actually being used. It always, even if you use something, I believe if you use something like this, it's going to default to the regular URL. If we remove this. So just make sure, if you have a clean looking URL, just use the URL. Even if we do products / and then dog bed, it would look something like this, because we want to run the ad directly to a product page. It's still going to use effortless ecom. It's going to omit all of that part. So in this case, we don't even have to use it. Okay, nice. Yeah, I already saw the alert. The alert was that the pixel is not connected to the account that I'm running the ads with, because I connected our Hazel account and not the one, because we don't have a business account, a Facebook account for this demo. But yeah, this is everything we want. Advantage Plus, here's the option that we had earlier too. We can have creative optimizations. This would just mean that whenever they realize that if they added a little bit of music and make it a reel, they will add to it. We usually want this on, but I also want to show you how we can edit the media. And we can see this is, depending on where they show this, it's going to look funky. You can see we uploaded a square image, but it's going to look like this. And even though they changed the UI, there used to be a way for us to say, we want to use the original here. There used to be a way, where did it move? I'm going to include in the course, but there used to be an easy way to say, okay, on the vertical one, use a different image. We can upload a separate one. But then often, and this is why it's not super relevant right now, you can see how it always adds the backdrop as a color. So even in Reels, it's going to look like this. In videos, it's going to look like this. It's kind of okay. It's not, I know even people, even Davey Fogarty, one of the bigger ones running ads, they only run square ads, funny enough. So we should be fine here. Display link, we've covered Advantage Plus, creative optimizations, I'm going to enable. They can do with my ad whatever they want to do, as long as it makes sales. Tracking, we should be connected. You should everything be green. We don't need anything else. Ignore the URL parameters. And now, technically, when we hit publish, it's going to review it. It's just going to make sure that it's not a spam. It's actually allowed. It's legal what we're doing. And then it's going to, once we get the green light, it usually takes a couple of hours, sometimes sooner, sometimes in the beginning, might take a little longer. And then the ad is running and serving. Now, so I'm not going to do that right now. The error is coming since our pixel is not connected. You shouldn't see this. The other thing I wanted to quickly touch on is what or how much budget should you run? Because I think that's what's a little bit confusing in the beginning is how, okay, I have an ad, how much money should I use? What is good? What is bad? What should I expect from my first ads? Managing expectations. I think Stefan said that's something makes sense to talk about. Don't expect to see any sales right away. It's the worst part is going to be in the beginning. So when we talk about daily spending, and that's on the ad set, on the campaign level, you can see the budget here. It's recommended to spend between 10% to 30% of your purchase price. Long term, it's going to be 10% to 30% of your AOV, average order value, meaning if you sell products but everyone's buying two, then it should be 10 to 30% of whatever that price is of these two items. In the beginning, before we get actual conversions, just go with the average purchase price or the average product price. Let's say $30, $25, and then we want to spend between 10 to 30% of that. I would say if it's something like 30 or cheaper, I would lean towards more the 30% of it, meaning $10 a day, because otherwise it's just going to take a lot of time for us to get some meaningful learnings. Now, don't expect anything on day one. Sometimes we get lucky, but again, the algorithm has now over 160 million people that they could potentially show our ad to. I'm going to call it it's going to be wild in the beginning. We have no pixel. We just create a pixel. We have no record, no data. They can only infer who's going to be interested in our products. So don't expect too much in the beginning. I would let it run until it's spent 2 to 3 times of our purchase price. So again, if you're selling for $30 and the ad spend, and we're spending 30% a day, and the ad spend 2x to 3x of our product price, and we haven't made a conversion, then kill it. We're going to test a new ad. If it made a sale, but it's just not efficient, or we already ran an ad and realized, okay, we have an ad that's converting at a certain rate. If it's roughly 20% less efficient, I would kill it too, and I would test a new ad. And then last thought, in the beginning, the majority of our work, also long-term to be honest, but the majority of our work that we'll be doing is creating new ads or new creatives. And we just want to make sure that we get the angle. We want to get to the first sale. We don't know what we have to say. We don't know what we need to show. We don't know what the algorithm needs. So we just want to create new creatives, let it run, and especially if you run with a smaller budget, that's less than $50 a day, potentially less than $100 a day. I would only test one ad at a time. This way we can get full control. We also know the budget is running into this ad. We can track it. If you realize no sales, okay, then let me create a new ad here. And the last point is, how do we add new ads? You can do it now. We don't have to pretty much ever touch the Advantage Plus campaign. We don't really have to touch the ad set level unless we want to change the targeting. But as long as we're selling in the US, use the same ad set. If you're promoting a different product, go with a different ad set because we want to have the learning separated. But campaign is still going to be, we're selling something in the US. We have our products here. And then ads is just going to be, this is where we just add a new one. And you can just even start by clicking duplicate. And then you leave everything as is, original campaign. You duplicate this ad because then we can leave most of the stuff is going to be the same. We just give it a new angle. maybe make the most. What we tried here isn't really working, so we go with something else, and we call it maybe testimonial. Everything else is already set up. The pages we're showing it with, manual upload, everything's working. All we would do is pretty much swap out the images and potentially the text. If you don't see any conversions and you're using a short text, then it's probably coming from the image. So we want to test the image first, and I would keep the text the same. And then this way, if we realize, okay, we see more engagement with a certain image, or once we get to a certain conversion number, then I would say, okay, well, now we test the same ad twice, but I'm going to tweak the text. We just want to make sure we don't change too much at once, because then we can't learn. If we change the text and the image, then we're not entirely sure what caused it now, but it's mainly image-based. So go with the image first. You can see headline, we can just leave, and all we have to do is go to our media. It says add media. We can just exit here, add media, and you would upload a new one. And I don't have one now. I have an old Instagram post. So you can just select something here, and then hit publish, and you're pretty much off to the races. Nothing else we have to do, and that's just copy paste. Click through our Canva templates, take a look at other ads. That's another thought I would like to leave you guys with, is become really good at consuming ads. Watch a lot, save everything. If you're in social media, if you yourself are a user on Instagram, save them. They have at the bottom of every post is a little icon to pin something, or to, I think it's like a page tab. Click that, create a new folder with just ads. That's what we're doing, and everything you like, just save the ad. And eventually, before you create a new ad, browse through your folder, see what others are doing, and then just try to copy them. Use our templates, use Canva, and yeah, have fun with it. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit more technically how to actually create all of that in the future. But that's kind of, I'd say, the hard part of it. And I assume you're going to have questions, and I'm going to open it up to you guys now. All right, Joe, I confused probably. He's definitely going to run. Yeah, this is definitely the most confusing part. So this is, once you understand this once you set up once, you don't really have to touch it again. This is why it's important to just get this one. And then it's all about just running ads, testing new angles. When you create an ad, make sure you don't run it to the homepage, run it to a product page. If we're promoting, hey, this is, let's use Joe as an example, or Joe's wife, hey, this is a new wristband, new bracelet, and people see it in the ad, then we also want to take them right to the place where they can check out. We don't want to confuse them. In general, we want to reduce clicks as much as possible. It's called conversion bleed. Take them straight. They see something, they click something. It's pretty much already has to be in their cart. When they have to browse, go through the menu, we absolutely lose them every time. People are not clicking, and it's become, I think, more an art of optimizing your pages so people see exactly what they want, exactly surf on the right angle, and then everything leads to the add to cart button. But yeah, serve them, put them on the product page, and let Meta do the rest.
Yeah, I feel like that raises the importance of the product page, right? If they're going to
Absolutely.
bypass your homepage and go straight to a product page, then you want that specific product page to be like on point
And
with
it's
everything.
exactly, and it's got to answer, even the product page got to answer all the questions people might have when they purchase. That's why sometimes you see beautifully crafted homepages and very cookie cutter landing or product pages. And that's every time a sign for us knowing, okay, either they're not running ads or they're not successful running ads. Because when you take a look at other big brands, it's the product page is kind of the page that does the selling. The homepage should be the fastest way to get to a product page. And then all the conversions happen on the product page. So this is why you say keep the homepage simple, yes, maybe someone comes from to the product page, clicks on the homepage because they're missing some information about the brand or as we're doing. That's got to be in the homepage, but the purpose got to be to have them go right back to the product page, check out, and be done with it. And then the rest happens in email automations. Let me see if I find a good example for a product page. So
There's
they
definitely a
had,
lot of steps in setting this up. I was just gonna say, there's watching you go through it. I'm like, if I had to do that right now, I'd be lost. I know I have to go back to the recording and watch every click and really just kind of dive into it, because I'm just looking at it and thinking to myself, what just happened? What just happened? I don't even know
yeah,
where to begin, but it is really interesting, and I can see why. Learning how to do this is a skill, and you could just do this, and that could be your job, versus having to set up a store, having to get your product page, having the descriptions, taking good images.
yeah,
Like, there's a lot stepping into this world of e-commerce, where ads just adds another realm of complexity
yeah.
to it.
And I think it's so important for people to get the pillars, the order of the pillars right, because you said something beautiful earlier, is you need a good product page first. You can have, because people like to go, oh yeah, I have a product, let's run ads. And it's also the last part. It's really important to run ads, but it's really important for it to be the last part, because it's also the only way where we actually burn cash. It's the way where we make cash, but it's also the way where we easily burn cash. And we've seen it even when we just talk. Oh, thanks. That's, I don't know how much, I think I just muted myself, but we realized a lot of people just wanted to skip ahead, and they say, okay, yeah, I want to sell something, now I need to show it to people, and then we review their stores and say, hey, it's not going to work. And I can promise, and I have a record of 100% that it's not going to work if I can just see a store and realize it's not going to work. Now, you don't have to have a perfect store, but you just have to hit you have to answer certain questions. I think even taking a look at Brez, they just had a redesign, and that was something you just talked about, where the product page will explain what the product is, because they know they're not going to run ads to the homepage. Some people will find them, some people will Google them, but this is their product page. You get everything you need and to make a decision, and then add it to the cart. And once we understand that, once we understand all the pillars, then yeah, eventually there's an end to this, but there's a lot that you have to learn, that we can learn. And my goal, again, this is mainly, I think, to give an overview. My goal is now to actually break it down, because not everything is important at once. Let's get everyone set up. Let's get the accounts created, get everything connected, make sure the pixels are tracking and the conversions are reported, and then we just slowly get there. And we're gonna try to make it click by click again, but it's good to hear that also other people get confused by it. It's not just me the first time I saw it. I think I saw some chat messages that I missed. Give me a second. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I expected. So this is what's coming. Um, I just want to leave you on a note that it's actually fun. Promise me. As soon as the first person buys, and you realize, okay, maybe I already forgot, and it's okay to forget what you did before, as long as everyone gets to the point where the ads are live. Um, Even I forgot how to connect it, because they also change it all the time. So I just had to relearn how to connect it. Um, Once you get to the place, yeah, it's gonna make more fun. It's gonna make more sense. But this is kind of the last pillar. We're gonna be covering more. I still have to upload the final part of the design course, and ads is coming next. And then in the end, everything can work beautifully together.
I did want to say that I have seen some success starting with the new ad that I set up with UFlow last Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
4 sales so far through that
Nice.
ad, so that's a start. I've gotten some other sales through the other ad that I'm running too, but with this new one, it's kind of interesting to see because it shows me like how many people checked out through Facebook. And so I had 3 people check out through Facebook, 1 person go through my website to check out. I've had 78 clicks, I think, on that ad. So 4 sales out of 78 clicks, I don't think is actually that bad, because most people, are clicking, especially with my stuff, probably aren't in the mindset of buying right now, but buying later. I had 1 repeat. I don't remember if I said this on Wednesday or not, but I had 1 repeat customer who had previously bought 2 mugs, came back and bought 4 more. Of the same mug, because everybody wants the damn hummingbird mug. And so I sold, she bought 6 of those, which was awesome. Another person came back and on her 14th visit bought something. So it's just been kind of interesting to see all those metrics play out. It was kind of an exciting week. I got several sales through Etsy too. And this month I'm trending towards my first like $1,000 month. So I might get close. I might hit like $800 this month. So it's been kind of cool to see that, and that's without running any big sales. Like last month was I did pretty well with Mother's Day sales, and this month I kind of missed the train on Father's Day. But so success is out there. I'm like finding some right now. So if I can do it, you guys can do it.
What a perfect timing of sharing this after all of this, to be like, hey, not just me promising, it actually can be fun.
Yes.
And this actually works. Thank you for sharing this exactly at this time. Be like, hey, it's actually also, what a great learning to be like, you're not running the promotion, you're seeing more sales from what it sounds like than before. It's a game of iterations. And we're kind of fishing. There's like something that some business people call this the stage goals of where, like, we're not going for the $1 million month right now. We're going for, what do people like to buy? And then you're at the stage goal of, holy shit, they like the hummingbird. And then what we do as an entrepreneur, be like, I'm gonna double down on that hummingbird. Everyone's gonna get hummingbird ads. And then it's all about, and that's gonna be your baseline. And see, okay, hummingbird is selling for X amount of ad spend. Can I find new products, new ads that will beat the hummingbird? But this is exactly, you hitting the next stage goal. You make sales. How can we make the acquisition cheaper? How can we double down? And there's the saying where they say, when it comes easy, I go hard. And this is the thing. It's like when people are buying, it's often we have the tendency to then say, but I have a smarter idea. With ads, I say, be dumb. And when you realize there's someone buying 6 mugs of them, who's that person? And how can I find more of them? And just hummingbirds all the way.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna work on some more hummingbird designs. But one of the keys to at least my success here so far has been directing right to that product page. And you and I had talked about that, because before I was going to the home page, then I was kind of going to a collection page. That product page, like you mentioned during the training, is really key because people don't want to click. I have found that people that are actually interested will find their way to other products. But having things down at the bottom of the product page, like customers were also interested in, customers that bought this were also interested in, X, and showing related products. That's helped spur a couple other related designs. Just building out that product page is super important. So yeah, I've learned a ton from our discussion so far, and seeing that put into practice, and seeing a few sales come in here and there from continuing to evolve what I've got has been really cool.
Matt, did you run what did you change? Your creative stays the same, you just change where you direct people?
Yeah, pretty much. I did have some other, so my very first ads were like a carousel style ad that was going to the homepage, where I had 5 different totally unrelated designs going to the homepage. And also my mentality around my messaging, because before, when I first started, I was thinking of it in terms of people buying something for themselves, and people don't really buy mugs for themselves. And Joe and I were just talking about this yesterday. People buy mugs for gifts. That's that's the way people consume them. Because usually when you're buying a mug for yourself, you're getting one for your family. Like maybe you just got married, you get a collection of them that are all exactly the same. They're like, you know, nice looking, everything's the same mugs. Though mine is completely changed. All of our mugs are now like stuff my wife and I have made. But people buy them as gifts. So I'm changing my messaging to reflect that. So like I've changed up my homepage a little bit to, you know, reflect that, you know, you're buying for a gift, give a gift they'll use every day. Shopping for someone who has it all, you know, like our mugs make a great gift that won't just get tucked away, was sort of my like tagline. So yeah, changing the ads to sort of reflect that difference in mentality and way of thinking that I have now about my product. You know, I'm seeing people be more interested in it. So yeah, hoping to find that. So I'm going to keep running with the ad that I have right now, but I'm going to pick a different product in sort of a different category, or a different niche, and run that at the same time and see if I can get any interest there too.
And really, really important, and that's even something that we put in the newsletter because they never even thought about reporting on it, is the session reports or the session recordings. That's also going to come into our video because we want to, and I don't think we've ever covered it before other than what you shared, but we can actually watch people then live, and we can also watch by their source where they're not live, but as a recording. We're doing that with Effortless Ecom too, just being like, oh, someone came to that ad. What are they doing? What are they reading? Where are they clicking? Okay, they're checking. We learned everyone's reading the FAQs. Which one are they reading the most often? What's the angle? So it's so fascinating by just having more data and learning about what we thought was true, and then realizing, okay, people don't click, or when we common mistake. That's why people run ads on the homepage. Think, oh, if they see the products, then they can pick whatever they like. But they're just not in the mood of picking right now because they're just clicking. And it's just optimizing for that flow. And this is something you can't just come up with. It's something you learn because every audience is different, every product is different, the customer journey is different. But we just want to remove friction in that journey with the more data we get. And eventually, it's just one clean process. And as long as the ads are scaling and we can even sell them more, have a higher LTV, lifetime value, then that's pretty much the main thing of what we're doing, running new ads. I'm going to stop the recording now. If that's going to go up to the community today, as soon as that's done processing, you guys can rewatch this, but I'm also going to have something long-term, much more step-by-step. And if questions do come up, if this settles down a little bit, or maybe you're watching, like, hey, what was that again? Just shoot me a message, of course. Just let me know. Happy to cover this. I'm learning again as well. I haven't started from scratch in such a long time. Yeah, this is super fun.
Hey, Flo, I'm going to put a post in the